New bombshell details about testimony against former Congressman Matt Gaetz, President-elect Trump's choice to become Attorney General.
A lawyer says his two clients told the House Ethics Committee that Gaetz paid women repeatedly for sex. He also says one of those women witnessed Gaetz having sex with a minor. For more on this ethics probe, we're joined by Nightline co-anchor and our dear friend Juju Chang. Thanks so much for being with us.
Happy to be here.
So you spoke to the attorney for two of these women. What are they saying?
It was a very detailed, very wide-ranging interview, and he talked about their testimony in front of the House Ethics Committee. It involved everything from Venmo receipts for payments that they were then asked, what was this one for? What was this one for? And they'd say, well, that was for sex. That was to attend this sex party. Very specific. Then they were forced to turn over their phones, so there were all sorts of text exchanges between then Congressman Gaetz and his clients, using euphemisms like, don't forget to bring the vitamins, don't forget to bring the party favors. And they testified that they understood that meant the party drug ecstasy, MDMA. And there are all sorts of, allegations around these really drug-fueled sex parties. How would you characterize these events?
So there were events that were more drugs and sex oriented events, which was typically a small group of individuals, 5 or 10, and they got together to party, to take drugs and have sex, essentially. And there were other events that took place at hotel rooms. There were, and have smaller meetups. There were events at different individuals' houses. So, there were trips, such as to the Bahamas or to New York. So you can't characterize them as just one type of thing, but those are the types of situations that took place over 2017, 18, and in January of 2019.
So in this particular event, what was your client? At this particular event, what did your client witness?
So she testified in July of 2017 at this house party. She was walking out to the pool area and she looked to her right and she saw Representative Gaetz having sex with her friend who was 17.
And at the time, he was a sitting congressman?
That's right. I don't know if she was aware of who he was at the time, but at the time, yes, he was a sitting congressman for about 6 months.
Wow, these accusations are very serious, and we do want to point out that Gaetz has long denied any wrongdoing. How is Trump's transition team responding to all of this?
Well, publicly, they are defiant. They are confident. They say that he will be the next attorney general. But Trump himself, according to Alex Pfeiffer, has told ABC News that these are baseless allegations intended to derail the second Trump administration. Now, privately, the president-elect is telling people that he's worried about Gaetz's chances for confirmation. That said, don't forget, this is the nation's top law enforcement officer that he's trying to be confirmed for, which is why he is working the phones to try to get support. And clearly the details of this particular interview is raising even more concerns.
Yeah, and you have to think about the House Ethics Commission that was doing this whole investigation. They haven't released their findings. Will they? Won't they? Do you have any idea?
Well, that's the big question. They are meeting tomorrow to decide whether or not to release it, either publicly or just to the Senate as they're going through their confirmation process. Now, there is growing calls on both sides of the political aisle for this report to be released. And I will tell you that the lawyer told us that ever since they were forced to testify in the federal investigations, they've been really traumatized and seeking counseling, and which is why they really do not want to go through this process again, and yet they want the public to know what they testified to because they view it as the truth.
Yeah, the story is far from over. Juju, always good to see you, and thanks for bringing us this story.
Happy to
Appreciate
be here.
it. And by the way, you can check out the complete interview tonight on Nightline.